You talked about how Japanese youth is opening up. And recently, I watched a TikTok from a guy in Japan dancing in the street.
Actually, though, that's not a new thing. The difference now is the way people will enjoy that and the way people interact with that. I came to live here in 2008. At that time, the first thing I experienced in Japan was a drum circle in the big park in the center of the city. I heard this beat and I was like, I have to find that beat. I can't not find that beat, right? And so I walked for like 20 minutes to find the beat. No, first it was a trans party in the park. And then I found a drum circle like on the other side of the park. And I was like, I'm in heaven. This is perfect. And I fell in love with Tokyo at that time. That feeling of Tokyo is still inside me whenever I think of Tokyo. But they actually made it all illegal now. So the drum circle still, I think now you can still find drum circles in Tokyo, in this one park. There used to be bands playing around the park. There was just so much music. And they shut down maybe 80% of it. It was very restricted to that area, but everywhere else, it's totally unheard of. The real difference is how people look at you and the way people smile and they show facial expressions where they never did before.
Oh, wow.
So when you went into a convenience store before, it would be like in a robot mode. People wouldn't make small talk with you. And they still generally don't. You hear them talking to each other a lot more. And if you start to talk to them, they don't freak out. Whereas before they'd be like, why is this person talking to me? Why is like also you can find it when you ask people a question, like if you need directions or something, they don't tense up the same way that they used to. Whereas before it could make people really nervous.
My experience is so far apart from that. It's not even close. People here usually don't tense up with anyone. Everyone talks with everyone. It's ridiculous because you can be in the subway. I had this experience recently which was very beautiful to me. There were 4 guys, different ages, and there was one guy, an old guy, right beside another old guy. The one sitting was the oldest and also the most talkative. They gave me some insights about how money is working here. What I was fascinated with is the way they were talking to each other, because I always noticed that I participate myself of this constant talking with strangers in the street and the subway, and these guys were just laughing with each other, and the rest of the wagon also laughed in a way with them. It was really amazing. I see it happening more and more here. It used to happen a lot already, but there was a low point, because we were all demotivated. There was no inspiration. There were years of dread for the future. Lots of people leaving the country, and it was very demoralized. So people didn't talk to each other. People didn't laugh in public places, but that changed completely. It's completely different now. I can now walk with my camera, my Nikon, through the city and take pictures. I couldn't do that before. I haven't tried in the most difficult areas yet because I don't want to tempt the fate. I don't feel threatened. I don't feel like I can lose my stuff. Everyone is pulling their phones in the subway. That was unheard of here. You tell me about this change in Japan, and I feel very glad, because I think there are many countries who need to cheer up a bit. And Japan is probably the main one, followed right by Germany. So they both need to cheer up really urgently, because they are leaders in the world. They know a very specialized thing that is unheard of in any other place in the world. So they need to cheer up and start sharing it and then start walking out. So I'm really glad that you tell me this, because I think my country and Japan are connected profoundly. Yeah, I think there will be a point in which we will trade places. Come from Japan to Venezuela, and let's go from Venezuela to Japan massively, because we need to share this stuff, migration, exchange and stuff. It already exists. The Japanese embassy is very active here, and there is a foundation, the Minon Foundation. They are very active with the embassy here in Venezuela as well. And there's a very beautiful connection with the Japanese community. I think it's only grown because I've seen Japanese here. I had some very beautiful opportunities to just go deliver stuff to the embassy, letters and stuff. I experienced the process of entering the embassy, which was very strict, as you would expect. It was the first time I entered an embassy. So I was literally in Japan for a few moments in my life. And the way they treated me was very mindful. It wasn't alert. It was mindful. Like I was acknowledged, and it fills me with joy. Right now, I feel moved by that. Now I realize that I've been acknowledged, and I think we need to acknowledge each other in the world in general. The entire human race need to acknowledge each other.
Yeah.
You are a human being, you are a human. But I think these two cultures, Latin American, particularly Venezuelan, and Japanese, have a very profound connection right now, spiritually profound. And I feel this connection with Africans too. I wish to visit Africa at some point in length. I had a very beautiful vision about Africa in a dream. And it wasn't the first time I felt connected to the land. I have to go there and I have to go to Japan. I want to own a Japanese sword at some point. And I also want to take a friend who is very connected to Japanese culture, and she would love the trip. So I think it would be a great honor for me to take her there. And I also want to see Mount Fuji. There are so many things that I want to see in the world. And I think precisely because of the shame and connection with the city, if I travel to another place, I can now enjoy that place even more because I've learned to enjoy my place even more.